hit the ball on the wing, we come in, we post hard, didn't get it, flex cut, feed the post. Right there to a good, strong power shot and finish. Okay, now we're going to add a fourth guy just to give our players and to give you an idea of what actually happens in the game. Same kind of idea. We're going to pass the ball to the wing. We're going to make a strong basket cut. We're going to post. Don't have the post up. We're going to step out, set the flex screen, run a guy off the flex, reverse the ball, and now feed the ball from the top of the circle. Point guard, we got a down screen going here. This guy's popping out. Point guard enters the ball to the wing right here, making a cut to the basket. This guy would be out here and then fills the spot closest to the ball and then comes out here and pops out. This guy's stepping out here just like he did before. We've got him out here. Make sure the person on the wing squares up so that he can see in all directions. Could have gave the ball to the cutter going to the basket, could give it to the corner, could reverse the basketball. We want to make sure that he sees all the options that are available. We don't have anything in the post, so we're going to step our post man out again, and we're going to flex screen. We're going to run the corner man off the flex screen and off to the ball here. Our opposite wing guy is then going to fill the spot closest to the ball, which becomes the point. We're going to reverse the ball. As soon as this guy passes the line of vision of our post guy, he's going to turn, open into the lane, and ask for the basketball. We're going to feed him from the top of the circle. Let's take a look. Got a down screen going to hit the down screen. Again, we clear to the corner, reverse the basketball, flex screen, curl right off of that flex screen, right back to the ball, into the lane, again for a strong power shot and finish. Let's go over one more option with a flex cut, with the back screen to a flex cut. This time what we're going to do is we're going to hit the ball on the wing here. We're going to get a down screen, hit the ball on the wing. We're going to make a basket cut here into the flex cut situation. Again, watch this guy's going to go out, fill up, and then make his straight line cut there. What we're going to do this time is now we've hung this guy up on the screen. And when he comes off the screen, we're going to feed him the ball from here on top so that we've got a layup in that situation. And again, that happens because we were able to clear this area. And we're able to clear this area by everybody continuing to move one pass away from the ball. Let's take a look at the play. Down screen, we're going to hit the wing guy, back cut, reverse the ball, flex cut, hit the guy right there for a layup because we've emptied out the backside again. Once again, what we like the most about this offense is we can virtually do anything we want to do out of it. And just to give you an example of some of the things that we like to do and some of the things that we've incorporated in this offense, we're going to run the flex cut again, and the guy setting the flex cut, we're going to run him off staggered screens for a jump shot. Here's what we've got going. We're going to down screen here again to start the offense. Don't wait on the ball. Bring this guy out. Hit the wing guy. We're coming in here setting the flex screen again. Of course, as soon as this guy goes to the basket, these guys are going to fill. Straight line cut to fill here. This guy's going to fill out and up. So we've emptied this area out again. This guy stepped out here in a corner. So now we've got the flex going again. We run a guy off of the flex screen here, and instead of stepping our flex screener in and post him, what we're going to do this time is we're going to run him off staggered screens. We're going to reverse the ball here, and then we're going to reverse the ball again over here. And as soon as this man reverses the ball, he's setting a down screen here. As soon as this man reverses the ball, he's setting another screen here. So what the defense has to guard is, first he's got to support so that this guy doesn't come off for a layup. And he's got to go from a position of supporting here to coming off of this down screen and then fighting off of another down screen, so he's fighting off of staggered screens. Let's take a look at it. Enter the ball to the wing. Watch how the guy clears. We've got the flex screen set up. Again, he comes off the flex screen, sets a man off, comes off a staggered screen, jumps up and makes a jump shot. Now let's talk about just a few concepts that in running this offense for the many years that we've run it, that we've come up with that we really like. And what I want to talk about now is setting back screens, and more importantly, being able to slip back screens. What you're going to see is, and watch what happens with the back screener. He's going to come up and step up here and back screen. And if he can get a good piece of this defender, it's going to be very, very difficult. And what's happened to us over the years is a lot of the back screens that we set, people want to switch. And in switching, we really couldn't get anybody open on the back screen. And what we ended up with was one of our power players out here on the floor where we really didn't want him. And so what we've really thought about now is, how do we set this back screen and still get our post people in an area where we can do something with them? So in coming up here and setting this back screen, now what we want to do is run this guy off of this back screen. Instead of stepping a guy back out to the ball or step him back out to a spot, we want to try to hang this guy up and then slip it right into here, to where we can throw the ball right into the paint area where our big people can catch it and do some damage. So let's take a look at and watch the back screener right here. The back screener is going to come right here, try to hang this guy up, create a switch, and watch his footwork and watch how he steps to the ball. And in this instance, he's able to catch the ball, take one good power dribble, and put the ball away with a dunk. Let's take a look. Back screen, slips the back screen, steps right to the ball, able to finish. Now let's talk about spacing, and let's talk about replacing. We're going to start here, and again, we don't want to wait on the ball. We don't want the ball to come to us. We're going to move before the ball moves. As soon as the ball crosses half court, we want to be in motion. We want the defense already moving. And again, we want to fill these spots. And again, the spots on the floor that we want to fill and we want to stay wide are these spots right here. And again, as we talked about earlier, we've got a little spot there where we make straight line cuts to and we read. That's not a spot that we really fill, but that's a spot that we read. And what we want to do now is, I want to show you, and I want our guys are going to run here. They're going to run, just pass the ball and move and cut and replace, and you can see how they fill, see how they replace each other, see how that we always fill the spot closest to the ball. The spot closest to the ball is always filled. The cuts are straight line cuts, and we're catching the ball, we're squaring, we're looking, and every time we catch the ball, and this is very important, if the ball is caught here, we want to be able to see people going in all these different directions, because those are outlets. Those are where we have to pass the basketball. So let's run this a little bit. Let's take a look, and let's take a look at replacing. Again, down screen to start it, ball's passed. Now we're going to screen a little bit. So we're screening, and even though we're screening, take a look at how the spots are always filled. Take a look at how the floor is wide, and we can always get cuts to the basket. Now what we want to do is we want to start to put everything together. We want to be able to replace ourselves. We want to be able to set some screens. We want to curl off those screens. We want the people setting the screens to be able to step back to the basketball. We want the people receiving screens to curl to the basket. And what we're going to do in this series is we're going to do everything but go on the ball. And we're going to finish it with a flex screen to a down screen. In fact, we're going to finish it with a flex screen to 2-down screen so that we're coming off a staggered for a jump shot. But what I want you to watch is I want you to watch the spacing. Even though we're screening, even though we're back cutting, and we're combining the 3 areas. When we pass the ball, in this instance, we're either going to pass the ball and go to the basket, or we're going to pass the ball and screen away. And in passing the ball, screening away, we can screen away from point to wing, we can screen away from wing to corner or wing to point, or we can set a flex screen. We can back cut to a flex screen, which we do to complete the series, and then again, run the guy off the staggered screen. So again, look at the spacing and look how all these things that we've broken down for you, all these things that we've broken down into 2-on-2 and 3-on-3 pieces, how they then come together in a 5-on-5 situation. Let's take a look. And notice how we don't wait on the ball. We're screening away. Here's a good screen away. Guy curls, steps back. We got a screen away going on the opposite side here. And notice how everybody's filling spots. We're screening away. We're back cutting. Now we're into a flex cut. Reverse the ball into a staggered screen, right off the staggered screen for a jump shot. Now let's take a look at how we can incorporate some 2-man game into a 5-man situation. We broke down the 2-man plays, we showed how to do 2-man plays, and now we want to incorporate them in a 5-man situation, and more importantly in a 5-man situation where we have good spacing, where we've got the areas emptied out that we need emptied out. What we're going to do here is we're going to go into some entries, we're going to run a smash cut into a 2-man game, and notice how the spacing happens. Notice how our guys are out of the way, we've got good spacing. If somebody would run over to double, we're in great position to be able to pass the ball to that guy for a wide open shot or drive. Let's take a look at the play. Again, we're not waiting on the ball. You see we flashed up in. We're getting ready to run a smash cut. We run a smash cut into a 2-man game, fill out, and we got the roll man. As you can see, what we've tried to do is we've tried to show you from a whole situation how we build our offense. And we try to go over spacing in the beginning in a 5-man situation so that we understood spacing so that you could see where our guys were going to be. And then we tried to break down the various aspects from 2-man games away from the ball to 2-man game on the ball to 3-man games both on and away from the ball so that you have an idea of what we did, and then tried to take those 2- and 3-man concepts and incorporate them in a 5-man situation with good spacing, and try to give you an idea of when we wanted to empty out areas and how we emptied them out, how we ended up with isolations for various players. What we like most about this offense is that we can isolate whoever we want to isolate. If we've got great post players, we really feel like we can get them in one-on-one situations where they can really do damage close to the basket. If our strength is our perimeter guys, we really feel like in this offense we can do a lot of things that our perimeter guys can get the ball in positions where they can score. Hopefully this has helped. It's really helped us. It's been a great offense for us, and hopefully it'll do as much for you as it did for us. Hi, I'm Bob Huggins. Let's talk defense. In particular, let's talk matchup defense. A lot of ways to run matchup defenses. The way we run matchup defense is we want to create turnovers. We want to score from our defense. And the good thing I think about the way we play defense, or the defense that we run in particular, is we've run it at all levels. We ran at the NAIA level, we've ran at the mid-major level, and now it's proved very successful for us at the University of Cincinnati. We believe you'll win by getting more shots and better shots than your opponents do. And you do that by creating turnovers or holding your opponent to a lower field goal percentage. And we think we can do both with this defense. We create turnovers by creating illusions the illusions that people are open and then rotating to them. We want the offense to think that they have players open and rotate to them. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the general alignment of our matchup defense. We're going to talk about the box theory, which is the premise that really the defense is built on, and I think really what makes the defense good. We want to break the positions down. We want to talk about the positions. We want to talk about the responsibilities that each position has, and then we want to go over the rotations that our guards make and the rotations that our front line people make. And we want to go over the rotations that happen on every single pass, and what happens if there's a skip pass, what happens if there's a penetrating pass. We want to work on those kind of things. We want to talk about those. And you know, I think some people sometimes think, well, you got to have a certain kind of player to do this. I think the beauty of this defense is we've won with all different kind of players. We've won when we were small. We've won when we were slow. We've won when we were big. We've won with a variety of different type of players. And I think that's the beauty of this defense. I think it can be adapted and adjusted to fit your personnel. In this tape, we're going to take a holistic approach. What we want to do is we're going to show you the whole, and then we're going to break it down into parts. And we're going to start with the general alignment. We're going to start with where we line up our players, and then we'll get into breaking down the responsibilities a little bit later on. But we want to show you the whole, how the whole works, and some of the principles that are involved. We start with our two guards in tandem. We start with a guard somewhere above the top of the key in here, and that kind of depends on our quickness as compared to the quickness of the team we're playing and how far we want to extend our defense. We could extend that to half court if we wanted to. Our two guard is tandem behind the one guard, and he has responsibilities there. We generally have our five guy in the middle of the floor, and then our three and our four man in this area, so that our alignment really is a 1-1-3 alignment. The 1-1-3 alignment is a little bit deceptive in that in a 1-1-3 alignment we still are always matched up with people. Everybody's responsible for a man, and everybody points to a man. And it's important that our people understand who they're guarding. Our matchup is nothing more than a man-to-man within the area that our guys are designated to guard. And by keeping these guys in these areas, we feel like we can keep them in positions where we can use our strengths a little bit better. We don't want our perimeter guys in the post guarding post guys. We don't want our post guys on the perimeter guarding perimeter guys. And by staying within this matchup, staying in this concept, we're able to do that. Before we get in really the specifics of the matchup, let's talk a little bit of philosophy and why we do what we do. We think it's really important that our guys not only understand what they're doing, really, but why they're doing it. So we want to explain to them and do a good job of explaining to them the philosophy behind what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And I think the game's changed. I think in the last 25 years, the game's changed totally. It's changed from funneling everything to the middle where all the help was to funneling everything down the side. And I wonder sometimes if we've kept up with the times. I wonder sometimes why we deny the wing if that's really where we want the ball to go. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's say this is ball side, and the ball's on this side of the floor. And naturally, this would be help side. Now, let me show you what we do and why I think it's important, and let me go through the box theory with you. And hopefully, after we illustrate this, you'll have a better understanding of what we're trying to do. What we've done is we've divided the court in half. Divided the court from a ball side half to a help side half. And let's cover up that help side. So now we've got a ball side. And as the ball's coming up the floor, wherever the level of the ball is, that's really where our box is. And if you think about it, most people want to start their They want to start their offense right here. They want to start their offense in a situation, foul line extended this way. Well, really, that's all we really need to guard. And we don't have any problems with people throwing the ball further into the box, because if they throw the ball further into the box, for instance, if the ball would be past the corner, now they've shortened the box to where this is the box, and this is really what we've got to guard. We don't have to guard anything more than that. What we want to do is we want to keep the ball in that box. If the ball were on the wing, we want to keep the ball in the box. We don't ever want the ball passed from the ball side box to the help side box, because the hardest thing to do defensively is go from ball side to help side. We all know that. To teach your guys to be able to sprint to help and go from the ball side of the floor to end up on the help side of the floor, to be able to stop penetration and do those things are extremely difficult. So what we want to do is, once we put the ball in this specific box, we want to do everything we can to keep it in that box. Therefore, we don't deny passes into the box, but we deny everything out of the box. We don't want the ball, for instance, if the ball is down here, we don't want the ball passed back out. We don't want the ball to come back out here to make that box bigger, to make that box longer. We want to keep the box as small as we possibly can, because when you really stop and think about it, and we want to have 5 guys that are close enough to take a big step and step into this box, if we've got 5 people in this concentrated area, we really ought to be able to guard the ball. If the ball's in a corner and we've got 5 people close enough to take one big step and step in that box, we really ought to be able to guard that box. So the further into the box it goes, we think the more that helps us. And again, we let the ball be passed into the box. We don't ever want the ball passed out of the box. So all of our denial drills are going to be denying the ball coming out of the box, making the box bigger, and never, ever, ever let the ball go from ball side to help side. Let's go over some terminology. Let's talk about some terms and some ideas that we have that we think makes our defense a little bit different and hopefully a little bit better than other matchup defenses. And the first term we want to talk about is on the line, up the line. On the line, up the line simply means we want to be on the line of the ball and our man. We want to be in a direct line. We don't want to play flat triangle like a lot of people play. We don't want to be a step out of that line. We want to be directly in that line, because we want the ball to be thrown over us or under us, but we don't ever want the ball to be thrown through us. We find that the passes that really hurt us are direct passes. We don't want anybody to throw direct passes against us. And again, we want to collapse that box. We want the box to get as small as it can possibly get. And then when it gets small, we don't want the ball back out. So we really feel on the line, up the line really helps us. And these are just a couple drills that we're going to use just to kind of show our guys and acquaint our guys with really what on the line, up the line means. If we take a look at what we're doing here, you can see that our guy here is staying on the line, up the line. He's staying in a position between his man and the ball. And naturally, if they try to throw the ball through us, we're going to intercept it. Now let's take another look at what on the line, up the line means. This is on the line, up the line, where we're in a situation where we're off the ball. We're in a help side box. We don't want to, again, we don't want to be flat triangle in a help side box. We want to stay directly in line. And everybody says, well, you have to turn your head. Well, you have to turn your head. I mean, there's no way getting around that. If you're going to be in a straight line, when the ball moves, you turn your head, or when the man moves, you turn your head. And everybody says, well, if I'm flat triangle, I don't have to turn my head. I agree with that completely, as long as the ball and the man stays still. But I think, you know, if we really think about that, I don't think the ball ever stays still, nor the man stays still. So whether you play flat triangle or you play on the line, up the line, you're going to have to turn your head. Your head's going to have to continually move to be able to see ball and man. And here's an example of what we do with our guys to make sure that we understand line of the ball. We understand what being in line between the ball and our man is. And again, this is off the ball. This is a situation that we work on off the ball. As you can see, we've got a player with the ball on the wing. We've got another guy who's staying on the line, up the line, and making sure that we're not too far off the ball. And in that instance, we were a little bit too far off the ball, and we should be able to intercept those passes. Let's show one more example of being on the line, up the line. And people say, well, if you got them trapped on the sideline like that, that'll work, but if you got too much court, then that'll be very difficult. Let's take a look at an example. We're on the line, up the line again. Got our man on the line right here, and again, he's going to be able to come up and trap, and watch the rotation that this guy right here makes. We're going to come up here, we're going to get in a trap situation, Watch the rotation that this guy makes. And again, we're creating illusions. We're creating illusions that people are open and we're going to rotate to them. Let's watch the play. Again, we want to steer the ball where we want the ball to go. So we're working on the ball, steering the ball on the ball. Working, offense is trying to work, he's backing up, now we come and trap. And again, we got him in a position where we're allowed verticality. And verticality is keeping your hands straight up in the air. If you notice what we did in the last drills, vision was really important. Vision was important that we saw the ball and we saw our man. And we do a lot of drills like that to create vision. We think vision defensively is extremely important, just like people think vision offensively is really important. And what we want to do is we want to be able to take away vision. Anything that we can do that takes away vision from the offense, we think is productive defensively. Again, being on the line, up the line, takes away vision, takes away sight to a guy that's open. What we're going to do now, and the drill that we're going to do now, is what we call 2-on-2 sprint to help. And the 2-on-2 sprint to help is the same kind of drill. We're working on vision, we're working on exploding off the ball, going from ball side to help side, and in doing so, staying on the line, up the line. So this is a drill that's going to combine what we just did along with the vision drills that we think are extremely important, and it's going to add closeouts with it as well, to where we close out on the ball, we attack the ball with our hands up, and again, we try to take away vision. We try to take away vision from the offense with the idea that they have to throw it over us or under us, but never through us. And in doing so, disrupting what they see. And again, trying to create illusions that people are open when they're really not open. Let's take a look at this sprint to help drill. This is a 2-on-2 sprint to help drill where the ball's passed, and as you can see, as the ball's passed here, we sprint into here. Ball's passed here, we sprint into here. We close out with our hands up. And you can see every time we've closed out with our hands up, and see the guy moving his hands, he's moving his hands, he's trying to take away vision. Let's take a little further look at this 2-on-2 sprint to help drill. We really think there's a lot of good things that are incorporated in this drill, and this is a multi-purpose drill that we think we can get a lot of things done. For example, we've got a player here or a coach here with the ball to start out with. If we can get this guy up the line and this guy up the line initially when the ball's here, and then as the ball's passed here, we want to take this player and we want to sprint to help. And in sprinting to help, we want to do a lot of things. We want to be on the line, up the line. We want to be in a position where we're close enough we can take one big step and we can get into the box. We want to be in a position where we can have good pistol position. Pistol position being pointing one finger at the ball, one finger at your man. And in pistol position so that we're pointing, it looks like we got two pistols in our hands, pointing one at the ball, one at our man, and again, stand on the line, up the line. So let's take a look at this, and let's make sure that as the ball is passed, let's say the ball is passed from here to here, this defender has got to jump and be in line right here. He's going to be on the line, up the line. This defender who was in a help position now has to recover to get in a position to be on the line, up the line again. Let's take a look and let's watch. Starting with the ball on the top. Both guys are on the line, up the line. Ball's passed, we got to sprint to help, stay pistol position. Up the line, both guys. Sprint to help, stay pistol position. Passed here. Look at how they're moving and they stay on the line, up the line. Look at the heads turning. If you look at the heads turn and see the heads turn, the heads are going to turn constantly so that we can see what we're doing. And again, the most important thing is that we take away vision. We talked in the previous segment a little bit about pistol position, about being in pistol position. Here we can be in pistol position. You can see here, ball's here, man's over here, and you can see that we've got guys pointing. They're pointing at the ball, they're pointing at their man. Now what we've done is we've taken our 4-on-4 shell drill, and we run our 4-on-4 shell drill a little bit different than most people. And the reason is we want to be able to rebound a basketball. We think it's very, very important that we rebound a basketball. I think a lot of times what happens is we make this rotation where we'll send our back guy all the way across the floor, and in sending him all the way across the floor, we expect the guard to drop down and block out big people. Just doesn't happen that way. We'd much rather have our guard be the support guy to go over and stop the ball, make him shoot over top of him, and leave our big person away from the ball so that he can rebound. So again, we're looking at being in pistol position. Again, we're forcing the ball to the baseline, and we're going to try to help from our guard. And we can do that as long as our guard stays on the line, up the line, and is close enough to at least be able to take a step and put a foot in the box. So let's take a look at this. Drive to the baseline. You see our guard come down. He helps. We hold our big guy on the opposite side of the floor. Extremely important that our big guy on the other side of the floor. Let's take a look again. Here comes the guard to help and support right there. We trap. We're able to hold our big guy right there, or drop our guard in there so that we're able to support. Let's begin by breaking down our matchup by positions. And let's talk a little bit about the different people in the different positions. Let's start with our point guard. And again, our point guard is generally our smaller of the two guards. And he is our point guard offensively. He controls the ball. He controls where the ball goes. He's the guy who steers the ball in one direction or another. Our other guard, our two guard, is generally the bigger and stronger of the two. He's generally the better athlete because he's got responsibility for the post. So what's going to happen is he's going to end up in a lot of instances guarding a high post man. Our three man is generally our quickest of our three frontline guys. He's generally our best on the ball defender. He's generally the guy that we put on the side where they generally start their offense. If they want to start their offense on the right side of the floor, we generally line him up on the right side of the floor. If they have a left-handed point guard and they want to start the other way, kind of start on the left side of the floor, we generally put him on the side where the ball is going to be the most. And keep in mind, the reason that we do that is we really, really make it hard for him to reverse the basketball. So we want our best defender in a position where he's going to do the majority of on-the-ball guarding. Our five-man is generally our slowest defender, but generally our best post defender because he's responsible for guarding the post. He's responsible for guarding the low post area. He's responsible for not just guarding the low post area, but he's responsible for being able to front the low post area. We don't want the ball to go in there. And again, we're trying to create illusions, and we'll get into that when we get into rotations. But our five guy has got to be able to step out and guard in the corner. He's got to do a good job in the post. Our four-man is generally our second quickest defender, and he's also a very good rebounder. He's a guy that we want to keep away from the ball. He's a guy that has to rebound the backside for us. He's a guy that's got to get a body on whoever's on the backside and come up with the ball. All three of these backline guys really have all the same responsibilities because they're all going to rotate around and all be responsible for playing each one of these different positions at any particular time. Let's talk about first our general responsibilities of our guards and then the specific responsibilities of our guards. Guards never have penetrating passes. Guards have all passes that come away from the basket, never have a pass that goes towards the basket. Responsible for the point here. This guard, our one guard, is responsible for the ball and steering the ball where we want the ball to go. Our two guard in here is responsible for this high post area and guards anybody in the high post area. And again, we don't want them taking any penetrating pass to the wing, any penetrating pass to the corner. The only passes that they're responsible for are passes that are away from the goal, not to the goal. The specific responsibilities is our one guard always gets the ball under control. He doesn't let the ball get centered in the middle of the floor. We call this area right here, we call that the shoot. And we just don't want him to have the ball in the shoot. And we really don't care which way he pushes him. He can push him this way to his left, or he could push him to his right, as long as the ball's not there. And the reason for that is we want the ball in one of these boxes. We want in one of the areas so we have a definite ball side box and a definite help side box. He pressures the ball and doesn't give any uncontested passes. It's important that we take away vision, that he's up on the ball and taking away vision. Once the ball is passed, let's say the ball is passed over here on the wing, he then jumps over here and doesn't let the ball get passed back, especially doesn't let the ball get passed back in this shoot. We want to keep the ball on this side of the floor. Once it's passed there, we want to keep it there. And our point guard responsibility is don't let the ball get past there. Our two guard keeps the ball out of this area, keeps the ball out of the high post. If there's no high post initially, like there's not now, he sinks and finds the first cutter that cuts into the high post, no matter where that cutter comes from. If that cutter would come from the wing or if that cutter would come from the low post, he is responsible for taking the first cutter who cuts into this high post area. He keeps his head moving to have visions of the players on both sides of the floor. And he's always matched up with somebody. He's either matched up with a wing guy or he could be matched up with a corner guy, depending. But he's always matched up with somebody. We're always matched up. If there is a high post guy, he three-quarters the high post, always on the low side and always below the foul line extended. But we want him to three-quarter that. We don't want the ball to go in the high post. Now let's take a look at movement of the guards. Let's pass the ball a little bit. Let's watch where they move and why they move. Keep it in mind that one guard always has to be in, the other guard's out. We don't ever have both in. We don't ever have both out. We got one in the high post at all times. And if the guy who's in the high post now, if he goes out to cover a pass that's coming away from the basket, then the other guard has to drop in the high post. So let's take a look at this movement. As soon as the ball's passed to the wing, the point guard's going to take that pass away or really slow that pass down, while the two guard, see how he's turned and he's ready to take anybody coming in. Ball goes to the corner, he's out, our other guard's in. Ball's passed to the top, that guard comes out, the other one's in. But you see how they move, just like they're on a pulley. If one's out, the other one has to be in. These slides are extremely important, so let's take another look at them. Remember, if the ball's passed over here, we want to jump in this line. We want to be on the line, up the line to slow this down. As we saw in the last video that we looked at, ball's passed here, we're going to be in this kind of position, and this guard, if there's nobody in the high post, is going to be here. He's going to turn a little bit. And watch this time the way he turns. Look at he's in pistol position right now, but he's going to turn a little bit so he can see anybody flashing into this area. As the ball's passed from the wing down to the corner, look what happens. This guard comes from here all the way out to deny, because he's responsible for that box not getting any bigger. Once the box is down here, we've flattened that box, we've shortened that box. He now has responsibility for any pass away from the basket. When he's out, that automatically pulls this guy into the post. So as we run this video and take a look at this video, look at the slides of the guards, and look how when one goes out, the other one always comes in. Let's take a look. Again, we're denying a pass back. There's a skip pass. Now we're going to take the skip pass. Nobody in the high post. We're taking a skip pass with the point guard. Ball's there. Ball goes down. Now we're out with one, in with the other one. Good slide there. Another skip. We're going to take the skip. And the reason we take the skip is there's nobody in the high post. If there was a guy in the high post, then the guard wouldn't be responsible for the skip. Now let's take a look at what happens when there is a high post man. We've covered what happens if there was no one in the high post. Now we're going to guard an offense that has a high post man. Notice what's going on initially. The one guard here is pressuring the ball. Look at our two guard. He's totally keeping the ball out of the high post area. If the ball would be lobbed to this guy, he's got to make a decision if he can get the ball or if he can't get the ball. If he can't get the ball, what we want him to do is just circle right around, and we'll show that a little bit later on, but he's going to circle right around and put pressure on the guy and take a turn away. But for right now, he's fronting in the post. And now if you look on any skip pass, they're not covering skip passes now because they have high post responsibilities. And again, take a look at the job they do of holding in a post, because this is the area we don't want the ball to go to. They're going to hold in a post until this guy is on his way down there before they make this trip out to guard out here. So let's take a look to make sure that we understand what we're doing. There, one pass, we're denying. There it is. Now we've taken the pass back out. Again, they've made their rotation. Again, denying there, denying in a post. The skip, we're not taking a skip. Well, but we changed in a post there. Here we go, here again, down. Now we're going to dive in. Now we're going to take the pass back away, deny everything into the post. Now let's talk about the general and specific responsibilities of the forwards. Forwards are responsible for all penetrating passes. They take all passes that go towards the basket. They don't take any passes that go away from the basket. Passes that go away from the basket are guards' responsibilities. Penetrating passes are forwards' responsibilities. If the ball is passed to this wingman, this is our forward's responsibility. And our forward is going to close out on the ball. He's going to close out with his hands up. He's going to close out trying to take away vision. And he's going to close out, try to entice that guy to lay the ball on the floor. Try to entice that guy to make a play off the dribble and force the ball right into help, because we're going to have help position. This forward right here's responsibility when the ball is on the wing. He's going to come around and front anybody in the low post. And in being able to front anybody in the low post, he's going to be in perfect help position to stop penetration. Once the ball is passed and there's a penetrating pass, the second pass on the ball side, the ball is passed here. Our five-man responsibility is to come out and, again, attack the ball with his hands up. He attacks the ball with his hands up. He tries to obstruct vision. He tries to keep the man in the corner from being able to see. As soon as the ball's in the air, not once the guy gets it, but as soon as the ball's in the air, our forward, who has come out here and had the wing guy, his drop then is to right in front of the post guy right there. So in essence, what's happened is this wing person and our center have switched positions after the ball has gone to the corner. Now let's talk about the specific responsibilities of what our inside people do, and specifically our three-man, our four-man, and our five-man. Our three-man usually is the ball side forward. He takes the first penetrating pass. We want him to close out on the high side of the offensive player with his hands up, never letting the ball being penetrated to the middle. He always wants the wingman to dribble, but he never wants it to dribble to the middle. He always wants to force the ball to the sideline. Our five-man is the middle man in the matchup. He fronts anything on the low block when the ball is on the wing. After he fronts the low block, on a second penetrating pass, he's going to have the guy in the corner. He's going to slide out with his hands up. He's going to obstruct the vision. He's going to take any kind of vision away and guard the guy in the corner. Our four-man generally is our offside forward. He's close enough to take one step, put a foot in the box. He stays on the line, up the line with this guy in the matchup. He's our last line of defense, and he's our rebounder away from the ball. We try to never have him rotate across the floor. Now let's take a look at our three and our five-man, what happens on ball side passes. We got a ball side pass, we're closing out, high hands, and now we make a drop into the post and end up fronting the post. Notice when the ball's passed back out, they don't take any passes away from the ball, take all passes to the basket. Don't take any passes away from the basket. And again, we're diving down in, fronting everything in the post. Let's take a real quick look at what we're talking about, again, about creating illusions. Ball's passed to the wing. We're going to come out, close out on a wing on the high side, pressure the wing on the high side, high hands, take away vision. But what we're talking about now is on the second pass. When the second pass is made to the corner here, and we close out to the corner, again, high hands, taking away visions. For an instant, this postman's wide open, and we want people to think that that postman's wide open because we want to leave them open and then rotate to them. And watch how our wingman, who came out, was pressuring the wing, does a great job taking 3 steps, dives right to the post, and he's in the post before the ball gets there. Let's take a look again. And again, we're able to do that because we don't